and welcome to episode 142 of the Big Time Strength Podcast. I'm your host this week, Amanda Berg. We have an amazing guest for you. You're going to love the energy today from my guest. He comes out of Ohio, and we are going to introduce to you Coach Adam.Atallah. He is the assistant athletic director and head strength and conditioning coach out at Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy, affectionately known as CHCA. And we have an amazing conversation. You'll hear a little bit about our history, how we know each other, and some of the wonderful concepts that we've gotten to work on together. And you will love this guy's energy. He brings the energy, he brings the accountability. He has the tough conversations, and you're going to find a lot of great things that you can take away right away. So I'm excited for our show tonight. We are going to give you our sponsors. First off, thank you, TeamBuildr, for sponsoring today's episode. TeamBuildr is the leading software for high schools and colleges by providing coaches the ability to write programs online, generate over 13 reports, and even train athletes remotely for side income. Right now, if you sign up with the code BigTime, you will receive a free APRE programming template, which works automatically within TeamBuildr. No more spreadsheets and workout cards to track training maxes that change day by day. Automate your programming without outsourcing your program with TeamBuildr. Next, taking your athletic facility from concept to completion can be a challenge. At Powerlift, it's their goal to make the process as seamless as possible from start to finish. Their weight equipment is made with the toughest materials that can withstand excessive use from both coaches and athletes. It's sought after for its unique design and customizable appearance, and its the affordability and their superior warranty that training facilities want and need. Their weight rooms are designed with the athlete in mind, and they pride themselves on their ability to outfit athletic facilities based on teams' unique goals. That's why high school, colleges, university, professional sports teams, and athletic performing centers around the world have chosen them to help maximize their facilities. Call them today to be contacted with a rep in your area. Also, give a follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter to see why clients are Powerlift proud. Wonderful. Thank you again to our sponsors. We are so grateful to have you and make this show possible. Here we go. I hope you enjoy our guest, Adam.Atallah. Coach Attallah, welcome. I'm excited to see you.
Hey, Coach, what's going on? Thanks for having me on.
Yes, I knew that I had to have you on. We've never got to meet in person, but we have been Zoom buddies for years now. And I got to tell my favorite Zoom story, and we're going to talk about your family.
Okay.
But my favorite Zoom story is you sitting in a rocking chair, holding your baby, going back and forth, and just trying to talk strength and conditioning, trying to talk leadership. And you were doing it. You were in the midst of it and making it a priority with your family. So I love, I got a special place in my heart for coaches with young kids. And
thank you.
That was one of
That's
my
funny
favorites.
you remembered that. Yeah, man, that seems we're on baby number 2 now. And our first child, Wade, at the time, born right into that COVID season where all of a sudden all of us coaches and the community, right, we all went through this together.
Yes.
Of how are we going to attack this thing? Well, not only are we attacking this thing from a professional side, but from a personal side, it's like, all right, how do I do this fatherhood thing as well? So I was trying to multitask, which is not always my strongest suit. So thanks for that information there, Coach. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And yes, we worked together a lot through the COVID time when you were working, family, and learning all in the same.
So, big learning, big time learning during that for sure.
Well, you are the assistant AD and strength coach, Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy. Love it.
Yes.
And I want to hear about it. Tell us about where you're at and what it looks like a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. So recently we restructured titles. Everyone, yeah, I'm at a private Christian school, so clearly we have fancy titles here, right? You can kind of make those up as you go. But anyway, so my official title is I'm the assistant athletic director of sports performance. What does that mean? Sexy title, great. It means that I am our head strength conditioning coach here.
Yep.
And I spend time with all of our male and female athletes, 9 through 12. We have a 7 and 8 program that's like an offshoot of things that we're actually developing more, which is exciting. We're working on developing some internship program opportunities for kids that are at colleges or are trying to, maybe just out of college and trying to figure out their next steps. And we want to take that and not only teach our program to these hungry future strength coaches, but also start helping our hungry student athletes at that 7th and 8th grade level as well take part in what we're doing, right? Establishing culture early and familiarity around that, I think is important. We want them to know that they're an Eagle from the time that they're at our school. So Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy, for short, we say CHCA. So CHCA, we want them to feel that belonging early, and we feel that this is a great way to do that. So that's what we're working on the side there, but that's the fancy title. I've been here since November of 2014. I'm actually a graduate of CHCA as well, so
Oh,
I'm back at my
really?
alma mater. Yep. So I graduated back in 2007 from here, and now I'm back in a full-time capacity as our strength conditioning guy.
So, as a strength and conditioning coach, primarily, what does your day look like? Are you a teacher as well? What do
Yeah,
you do?
great question. So I'm a part of the athletic department. I am actually not a teacher. So I'm the anomaly that some coaches say, the before and after school guy. So
Yep.
I'm a before and after school person right now. What's cool is we've started to morph it without really asking for curriculum guideline or getting credit for it, which is probably future steps. But we have something called PRT at our school. It's personal responsibility time. It's a more of a glorified uh, I guess you would call it study hall. But basically, what we're doing is we're teaching our kids how to use their, we'll call it 80 to 85 minutes of free time for a number of things, whether that's tutor help, getting their homework done, working on an extra AP lab. But we've now converted that over to saying, well, hey, listen, if you're going to sit around and not do much for that time, why don't you come and get your workout in, get your treatment done with our athletic trainer, get your skill and position work done. If you're an off-season athlete and you want to get shots up, now the basketball season's here, but in the fall when they're running open gyms and trying to stay sharp, well, we got kids shooting 200-300 baskets during their PRT bell, right? And then they go shower up and they come get their lift in, and before 3 o'clock hits, they've already gotten their skill work in, their lift in, maybe a homework assignment done, and they're heading home by 3:15. So that's pretty cool. But that's where we're getting to there. But as of now, I will work out our teams before and after school, and then sprinkle in the end of the day. Those PRT students that are available will come and take advantage of the program as well.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen a lot of schools that have started doing that format a little bit, giving a little bit more flexibility. And we've started doing it a half an hour, 2 times a week.
Okay,
And that's what I'm doing as well. I'm opening up that weight room. If you want to make up, a lift, or if you need, let the coaches know, hey, if kids need access to the weight room, this is a time, and we fill it up. It's
really.
I love
Do
that
you
concept.
stay in the so will you stay in the weight room for that, coach? So like those opportunities, will you stay in there?
Yeah, the kids sign up knowing I'm going to be in the weight room. So that's my time. Like some teachers will have a study hall, or a science teacher might have a lab makeup. And my
Yeah,
time is I open it up for if you need to make up a class, because I'm a strength and conditioning coach, but just so many kids utilize it to take care of their, foam rolling, and just take care of their
yeah,
body, or just get in that lift of, I just need a good, fun lift that I can do. So I love
absolutely.
that time.
Right. That stimulation is huge too for the students, right? Like even the fact of like, man, like I just got my tail kicked today. Right. How many of our students, like I always say, like, I'm not here to coach you on your energy. Like you need to bring that. That's a choice you got to make. Like you don't show up here and expect me to do that. That's got to be your own decision. However, I also need to recognize the fact that They just went through a full day of rigorous academic work, right? Whether it's lecture based, interactive based, lab based, I don't know, but I also have to be mindful of that. And so I feel like something you're doing there is probably extremely helpful. And that's why I'm asking is, how do you do that? My office is in the weight room, which is sweet.
Yep.
But our students, with their commitment to the other things, it's hard for them to sign up for that. So I always tell them, like, hey, listen, if you got the day, come in. Otherwise, I'll see you after school. But man, maybe there's a way to build that system. I need to learn from you a little bit more on that one. So I like that.
It's nice, in a high school setting, we have our shop kids, right? We have our art kids, and we need a
Yeah.
place for our kids to move as well and have some time for them. So good. I'm
Right.
glad
Especially
that.
with recess being gone. Yep.
Yep. Yep. Well, good. Well, let's switch over almost a little bit with that. You and I work together a lot with leadership, and
Yeah.
I've seen some amazing things. I think I remember you once saying that you're a brand person. That's,
Yes.
that's your thing. But right now, what do you think, not even just in the times we're in, just where we're at with students, what do you think are the top two ingredients a strength and conditioning coach needs right now for a good program?
Oh man, that's a great question. Yeah. So my background is actually, like, I did not go to college and study exercise science, kinesiology, any of that stuff. I'm actually a business entrepreneurship major. So I
Wow.
graduated with a degree in entrepreneurship from Miami University. I have a very good business school there. Um, and my job throughout college, I would intern or I worked part time for a sports performance company in the private sector, Ignition Athletics Performance Group. And I did everything from being a sports performance coach and working with young youth athletes all the way up to eventually being the NFL Combine program coordinator. And then after that, I got into the school setting, which creates a whole unique dynamic for us high school strength coaches. So I've seen a lot of different things, and I've learned from a lot of different people with unique backgrounds and experiences. I think it boils down to two things. I think for us as strength coaches, it is our duty and responsibility first and foremost to connect with our students. And for me personally, what does that look like? I believe that this weight room, this is a platform for ministry. So I'm at a private Christian school where we're encouraged to pray with our kids. We're encouraged to talk about Jesus. We're encouraged to pursue them on that level. And so they know when they come in here that our focus is spirit, mind, body, and it's actually in that order with intention. Because if
Wow.
I focus on the body and something goes wrong and the spirit and the mind aren't right, what do they have? But if they focus on the spirit and the mind first, and that's rooted strongly and they have a foundation there as well, if something goes wrong with the body, they still have something to cling on to as we're going through that process. So I think the first thing is connection. For my kids, when they walk in here, they damn well know the first thing that they're going to have is someone that cares about them, that's going to speak truth in their lives, and that is going to push them to be relentless in their efforts so they can reach their max ability. So if they do that really well and they show up with the energy, I'm not coaching them on that energy part. That's their choice. We're going to have an incredible experience here. And it's going to be a great relationship that's based out of respect, not fear, right? Respect, not fear. I think too many times either our kids have this preconceived notion that they need to be afraid of us, that it couldn't be further from the truth. If you're an authoritarian figure, you can do that from a level of respect and not fear, and you're going to win more people that way. You're going to get more people on your side going after something together when they
Mhm.
respect it versus fear it, right? We don't want to push people out of that. So um, that's the first thing. And I think if you connect well, then you're able to talk to them deeper, more intimately. You're able to challenge them better, and they're going to know that that coaching, that is positive, purpose-driven coaching for their benefit. The second thing is I think you need to have an environment that creates a belonging, right? Creates a tribe, a community, a lot. Culture's a buzzword, but and I think it's important. And I think your culture needs to be a place of belonging. If your kids are showing up because they're asked to, because they're told to, versus the idea of they get to, you're gonna have two totally different dynamics. So what we strive for is that when they walk in here, it's business. It's going to be a strain. You're going to have to be in the strain. You're going to have to be in the process, but you're going to belong to something that's greater than yourself with others. And when you add into that and extract from that at the same rate, everyone gets to have an amazing experience. There's a level of excellence in that experience. So I think connection and I think community or belonging. Those two things right now, more than ever, are super important for us as strength coaches to be able to foster so that our kids know what they have going for them each and every day. It can be a constant. So does that answer your question?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm going to follow up with you, but I love
Okay.
that the key thing, yeah, greater than yourself with others. I like that. That's a lot different than playing, you know, for something above yourself. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
What are some ways that, you said you work before and after school and with a big age group? What are some ways that you are connecting, like little things that a coach could
Oh,
use?
I love that question. That's a great question. Okay. So one, we go to a private Christian school. Again, I always preface that. So when coaches listening here, there are going to be a lot of different ways to go about this.
Yep.
So what I have found that works for us, the fact that I don't teach classes could be a detriment because I'm not seeing more kids throughout the day. But the fact of the matter is 85% of our kids play at least one sport at our school. So I
Okay.
am seeing a large range of kid every single day. But what do I do extra? Man, I walk the halls. These kids know when they see me, there's a good chance if it's before 10 o'clock, I'm asking them what they ate for breakfast. If
Yep.
it's after 10, I'm checking and saying, what did you pack for lunch or what do you plan on getting for lunch today? Right? Like I'm asking a simple question like that. They also now have come to me and they'll be like, Coach, guess what I ate today? Or hey, Coach, I'm heading to go get this. Our seniors have off-campus privileges, so they'll go and they'll drive over to Chipotle and they'll hit me up and say, hey, Coach, check this out. Or they'll video themselves like going through the Chipotle line and everything they're ordering. So we have that kind of interaction. Another one is we have connection bell at our school. Connection bell happens for the first 20 minutes of their lunch bell. So I'll see different student athletes or different students, not just student athletes, during Connection Bell. And I have my own group, kind of like a homeroom. But all those senior guys, if they're leaving for lunch, I might go around and say hey to some of the other kids that are around. And so that's really shown to have a lot of impact. We also are very involved in the student body, like the student body dynamic. So whether that's our student council, whether that's pep rallies, whether that's signing days, whether that's going to a away game. It's easy to go to a home game, right? But like, do you take the time and have the intention to go to a away game, right? And the first thing someone's going to say is, well, I also got a family at home. Well, yeah. So be better about your communication, be better about planning that out. And I'm not telling you to go to every game, but there is a major difference, man. When that girls volleyball team sees me show up to a away game, there's a difference. It makes a difference. They light up, they appreciate it, they know the extra intention, right? If it matters, you have to show that it matters, right? Me saying it is one thing, me doing it is another. If I'm asking them to show up on time every day, right, and to show up consistently, I'm telling them that it matters, right? If I'm asking them to have a coachable posture, that matters. Okay, that means I got to have that, right? If I'm asking them to enjoy the process, to stay into the strain and embrace that, well, then I got to show those moments of that too. So I think it goes both ways, and it goes back to like that level of respect versus level of fear, right? What are your kids responding to? What environment are they interacting in? Man, outside of that, just social media is a big one, and I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I'm on it a lot. Sometimes it can be addicting, right? And at the same time, I hate it. But I'm finding that me commenting or retweeting something or reposting something on my Instagram story or sending a snap of like the weight room looking really good today because all the kids cleaned it up and it looked better than they found it, that makes a difference and it's a touch point. So, and then we got a really great administration that I think has done a great job supporting our program, right? Our sports performance program and me and all the kids and what we're doing, and have adopted that, embraced that into our overall mission as a school. So yeah, I think that's a lot. It's a laundry list. I don't know if other coaches are able to do that, but I have some flexibility that allows me those opportunities that I get to do.
Okay. So you're doing a lot. What type of strategies are you using? And we'll just say belonging, the other part of it. What type of strategies are you doing to bring the kids so that, when the kids have that sense of belonging, now they're finding a way to invite others. So they're
Yeah,
taking,
that's a great question. So we talk about the 4 C's. The 4 C's. So what I tell every coach, every parent, and kid when they come in here is that here's our promise to you: that when you come and you train our program, we are going to have a level of competition in every workout. We're going to have a level of community building in every workout. We're going to embrace the idea that you're building confidence, and we are going to push you to show courage. So those 4 C's, right? Every time you come in here, our programming is going to focus on those 4. What we have found is that competition breeds competition, right? Jeremy Boone says it best: energy mirrors energy. So if we're doing that, it's going to only enhance it. Secondly, community. You are a part of Eagle Nation. When you are here, you're part of Eagle Nation, regardless of the sport you play, regardless of how good you are at that sport, right? Regardless of your role on the team, you are part of Eagle Nation and what you're doing. So we're going to embrace that part of the community through what we do in here, because the weight room, and you know this, coach, it's the great equalizer, right? 225 is 225. It doesn't matter how shiny it is, what brand it is, metal, polyurethane, whatever, composite, new thing, fancy stuff. Okay. It doesn't matter. 225 is 225. You either can move it or you're not able to move it. If you're not able to move it, what are the things you're going to do in order to get to that point to give you an opportunity to do it? And if you can move it, then what are you going to do to increase that? How much further can we go? How much further can we push you? Either way, if you are relentless with your effort, you're going to reach your max ability of what you're capable of doing in here. All right. And that's where the courage and the confidence step up, right? Have the courage to go after something you may not be able to attain right now, and have the confidence to do it well and know that you will get there. So I would say that's how we're bringing students along.
Excellent. That makes me excited. Like, I can see it. As soon as the kid hears that for the first time, especially somebody who maybe doesn't feel involved or that they add value to their team, instantly, those 4 C's, you saying that, yes, sense of belonging, I'm on. I'm here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, coach. And if I could say
Yep.
one more thing. So we don't have every sport fully committed to what we're doing yet. Some of that is based on the nature of the sport, right? A golfer is probably not really exposed to strength and conditioning the way a football player is, or maybe our volleyball team, who's our most committed program, uh, doing an incredible job. Our swimming program, we don't have a pool at our campus. So like, how's a swimmer supposed to? So we're still working through that. But you know what? I've had 3 young ladies in the swimming program consistently be here for the last 3 weeks. I've had our swimming coach showing up at the end of the day before he leaves to head over to the pool, checking in to say hi, right? And seeing who's here. And you know what? I haven't had more than 10 kids at one time for that swimming program between our lifting blocks. But I'm getting some consistency. We're getting some key people in here, and it's going to be a process, but we're still inviting them in. So if I'm talking about those 4 things versus barbell back squat or front foot elevated split squats or whatever, like lifting movement, that's going to come. But I got to give them the basis of why they're here and what they're going to experience first. And then we'll start to get into that range of other, let's call it technical terms, as a strength and conditioning coach.
Experience first. I love it. That's good. That's good. Let's move to training a little bit.
Okay.
Lots of training, talk, and a lot of things changing. But what are 2 or 3? I want to hear about the new stuff you're doing. 2 or 3 things that you're bringing on. You start talking, I'll make sure I get my phone.
No, that's okay. That's all good. That's all good. So I think for us, we have 3 main, I'd say 3 main focuses in our training program. So I'll tell you, I'm not a guy that, again, I didn't go and I didn't study under somebody that taught me, clean periodization, or taught me how to, do the 5-3-1, or tell me how to do the 1x20 block 0. Like, I've picked up all of these little things over time, still trying to, I think, define if something is working really well versus not working well. But what I could tell you is this: what we do in the weight room follows 3 main things. We want our kids to be twitchy, we want them to be tough, and we want it to be transferable, right? The toughness has obviously a strength component to that, but we want them to be twitchy, we want them to be tough, and we want them to be transferable.
I've never heard twitchy before.
And here's why: because at the end of the day, there's going to be a level of strength that everyone attains. But I think we're missing a lot on power and speed at the
Yes,
high school level. The
definitely.
fast kids that you have in high school, they're fast. Like they're just fast, and they're probably already in that upper right tier versus the rest of the student body and other schools that you're playing. So it's like, okay, well, how do I not have three kids at the highest end, a bunch of like middle range kids and some lower range kids? How do I get everybody as closely together as possible, right? And eliminate the gaps. So like I'm not as concerned with my fastest kid on the field running a 4.4 and that's it. What I love to see is, okay, I got some kids in that 4.4 range, which is like, if you ever have a kid that's a 4.4, like that's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. It just, you don't talk about that much. And the coaches that are listening say I have 4.4s all the time. Man, I wish I had that. I don't. I have kids whose parents are doctors and lawyers and CEOs and different things. Like, just it's a different kind of demographic here. But what we do have are really hardworking kids. And so what I know is that if the base level of hard work, determination, and coachability is there, then what I can say is we're going to help bring kids as close the gap as much, so that my kid that's least athletic at least is up in range versus my kids that are so far off the charts athletically. And we do that a couple different ways. So we do focus on speed and power development. We've started to work on some new angles with our RSI, so reactive strength index. We're doing some new things there, working on not just readiness but preparedness. So preparedness, Coach Gary Schofield and Rich Burnett and some guys have shared some things on this, but preparedness is the idea of 3 to 4 weeks of timing. So my RSI number, right, and on the plyomat system, the grid, there's 4-color grid. Based off their number and that color grid, over the course of 3 to 4 weeks, I'm showing the preparedness of a student athlete. Meaning, what have we done here? What have we done on the field or on the court that has them prepared for what they're about to do? Now, in a week time frame, so that, let's call it 4 days that they come and see me or they're around me in some way where we take the RSI, that number is their readiness. So you're comparing their preparedness, which is over the course of this 3 to 4 weeks, maybe longer, and you're saying, okay, so if they're in a certain threshold, I know that their readiness is high, right? They're there. If their readiness is below that threshold, let's call it within a certain threshold, man, what do I have to do? Do I need to do a deload day? Do coach, hey, coach, you might need to train them a little differently on the court with your different, whatever you're doing for your practice plan today, right? And then what we do is we look at wellness reports. So, okay, based off of that, and then looking at the wellness report, holy cow, soreness level's been on 5 for the last 3 days. Missed that, didn't catch that. They had low sleep. They haven't eaten breakfast. Academic stress is through the roof. Okay, what's going on? Now we're having a warm conversation with that student athlete, to which they can open up. They don't have to be embarrassed about. They don't have to worry about being quote unquote soft. And we're saying, hey, listen, this is about you playing well Friday. I'm going to change things on my end, right? So we might deload them 30%, coach, on what they're doing. So if they're working in a 75% right range on their weights that day, maybe we're changing that progression down and they're in the 50% range. We're going light and we're getting back to twitchy, and that's it. Heck, if it's so far off, we might even do a complete day off. And what we do is we work on some breathing. We get their feet up on a locker, right? Turn out the lights, let them rest for 30 minutes, then have them come in and do some dynamic stretching, and then get them the hell out of there, right? Now it's my responsibility in the back end to make sure I check the next day and say, okay, wellness report went up today. That's fantastic. They finally got over those two, exams that they had in these 2 classes that have been kicking their tail, and their coaches talk to them. They know where they are. So that's been something we've done. So that's one area, RSI. And I've been really happy to see that. Right now, we're still in that kind of learning phase, though, right? We're still gathering data. We're still seeing, trying to find trends. But I have been able to adjust workouts on the fly with the volleyball team, the football team, our women's soccer team, on the fly in season, to help them actually transfer over better to what they were doing. Because, coach, let's be honest, No one plays weight room. That's not a thing. You don't play weight room. You play a sport. You play basketball. You play football. You play soccer, volleyball, etc. Right? We are an auxiliary. We are a supplement to what they do that helps increase their performance and their ability to play at a high level. But no one plays weight room. So I would be prideful to say we're not going to change what we're doing. Kids need to toughen up. Do we need to get some more grit out of our kids? Hell yes. Yes. My school specifically, man, we got work to do in that area. We got to get some resiliency from these young men and young ladies. But I do believe that I would be prideful in saying, and really foolish for that matter, that our program is great the way it is, and we need to just keep going with it. All right. I don't care how well you program. There's going to be times you just got to adjust.
So are you looking for, when you adjust, or the times that you have so far, I know you're getting the data here and there, are you looking for, is there a percentage? Is there a breaking point? Is it 20%? Is it, where are you at where it goes from the conversation to the adjustment of training?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So if we're talking RSI specifically, for me, if they are outside of a 0.3 range below what we'll call it their running averages, meaning just the preparedness score, which is roughly the average RSI over the course of those 3 to 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And here's what's funny. I don't even need to go look at that number much anymore. When you start getting your kids to that point, they know. They're like, I'm normally a 3.1. I was a 2.6 today. I'm like, were your jumps on point? Like when you were doing your 10-5 jump system, right? So you do 10 total jumps, and the RSI pull from that is your best 5 of the 10 jumps. Okay. Now, if we're using the old Just Jump mat system and you're doing RSI, you only get 4 jumps, you might have to adjust this a little bit. I'm using the plyomat system that Rich Burnett's created down at Greater Atlanta Christian. So the plyomat system is a 10-5 split, and I'm taking my 5 best jumps. I know coaches out there are using like the push band. I think VMAX Pro is actually going to be getting to that, which we have VMAX Pros here too for velocity-based training. But as far as the RSI stuff goes, for us, it's a 10-5 split. So the best 5. So I'll ask him, hey, were you all in green or mostly in green? So in the plyomat system, every jump you do has its own threshold, and then there's a overall threshold. So a green jump would be 0.25 ground contact time or less. So means I hit the floor quick and I'm up off the ground again. The other threshold is their height of their jump, which I set at a minimum of 12. So they need to at least be hitting 12 inches on that jump for it to register green, which means it was a clean jump. If it doesn't, it hits red. Mm-hmm. So as long as 5 of their 10 were green, I will take that number. If they say, well, no, 8 of my 10 were probably red. Okay, well, let's jump again to make sure it was a clean score. So based off of that, if they're in, I would say 0.3 more or off. So if I had a 3.1 and I'm down to a 2.8, I'm going to start talking to them about questions. If they're 0.5 or more, I typically ask whether they clean jumps. If so, I deload them right away. My 0.3s, I will, what I will do is I'll actually go to a dynamic prep activation, and then I'll have them jump again. Okay. If their CNE, right, or CNS, if their CNS jumps back up and they're in the 0.3 range or better, then I will go ahead and keep them in the workout. I typically monitor them closer, and as they start to fatigue, that's when I'll deload them. So we try to get the most out of the gas tank we can. Then we deload them throughout the workout, depending on what we're doing. And then we'll deload them so that they still have a few reps left in the tank, right? Mark Hoover talks about that a lot. He does a great job talking about leaving a couple in the tank. So I've tried to take that methodology that he talks about and say, okay, we got what we could out of them with those barbell front lunges. And, that was at a 60, 70% load. So we knocked that out. Now, when we get into, let's call it a goblet squat or whatever it is, I might deload them and say, hey, look, you're normally in 70s. I want you down in the 50 range. I want you to increase a couple extra reps, right? It's on the fly. It's not like I go and reprogram things. It's more of on the fly. You got to be on the fly at the high school level, man. I don't care what anybody says. You got to be dynamic. You got to be able to adjust, be moldable, bendable. Don't break, but you got to bend. Man, these kids are
All
bending
the
for us.
time.
We got to bend for them,
Yeah, all the time. And if you
Yeah.
want to dive a little bit deeper into what Coach Atala is saying, there's a great, Preston did an amazing podcast with Rich Burnett, and it really focuses on his RSI stuff. I mean, it seems groundbreaking to me. I'm not
Yeah.
there. And his plyomat, it's just amazing stuff. So important. It's definitely like you're doing right now. It's my next level of being able to adjust for and individualize for each student, which we do as
Yeah,
teachers.
I agree, coach. Can I give one more just sound bit of advice on that one?
Sure.
You can get so lost and overwhelmed doing this, especially if you're a coach with different backgrounds. If you're a person that's into the sports science and analytics and data and all that, and you've been doing it for a while, you will thrive in this. It has been a growth process for me, and I
Mhm.
had to dial it back. So Adam Vogel up in Illinois, dude is off the charts smart and is doing a lot of great things up there. I would highly encourage you guys check out Adam and what he's doing. I've learned a lot from him as well as Mark Hoover. But um, what I realized through all this is when I talked to Rich and when I talked to those guys, I needed to figure out what exactly was great for our program and what worked well. And what I realized is for right now, what we are doing and all the other things we have going on, my system with RSI is very simple. I want to use it for preparedness, for readiness, for plyometric work, and to test how twitchy we are on a regular basis. That's it. I
Yeah.
want I want those kids competing. I want my top three basketball guys that are always going head to head when they get on that plyomat to see who's going to have the best RSI score that day and who's going to be in the highest color blue, which is the highest. That's the highest area in the plyomat system that they've created that shows their overall reactiveness. Right. I want reactive players, and that's the area that we are. So
And
that, but learn what it is for you because, dude, you can go into some deep dark holes there, and it's nuts. So
And
know what
that's a
that is for you.
language, you saying that, talking about your basketball players and twitchy, that's a language that kids can understand then, right? I mean, something we forget is we do not want to be above where our kids so they don't even understand what we're doing. Yeah, I need these numbers, I need for you. And so I like that you're just that word twitchy. I want to be fast. And the kids
Always,
understand it. Yeah.
always, yeah. And again, like, and we can show them numbers that say, like, hey, listen, with the right kind of work and time, you can achieve this, and that's why you got to be relentless with your effort. I'll never tell. Hey, don't go compare yourself to this guy or that gal. Focus on you. Be relentless with your efforts so you can reach your max ability. That's it. That's all I care about.
Wow. Love it. Love it. Well, the next question, I think we already covered it, but I was going to say two or three people that you're learning from. So you've already talked about Coach Hoover. You've already talked.
Man, I have a good list. I'll read off a couple more that because I wrote them down because I really believe this is important that people like go be resourceful. But yes, like Rich, obviously right? Gary Schofield, phenomenal. Been doing it for a long time. But like Rich now, what he's doing and actually making it into a product
Yes.
that coaches can use in a system that we can invest into. So Rich Burnett down at Great Atlanta Christian, right in Georgia, and the plyomat system. Adam Vogel, I mentioned, he's up in Illinois. BBCHS, I think is it. He's got some weird name. I don't even know how to say it of his school, but he's doing great things up there. Another friend, he's actually my cousin, Pete Colopy. He's up at the Wellington School in Columbus, Ohio. He's doing some awesome things up there. Young, hungry coach, comes from the college ranks, realized the opportunity at the high school level. He's been crushing it. He and I like to share good pour bourbon and enjoy ourselves very much during the holiday times with family. But he and I are part of what we call the outlaws in our family. We're the people that married into the crazy family. But Pete Colopy is doing great things at Wellington School. Cody Coley is a good friend of mine. Cody is he's actually been a strength coach at a couple different places, high school wise. He's currently doing his own thing on the side right now called One More Tactical, which is a level of strength conditioning focusing on all the first responders and people out there that serve us and keep us safe. And he's doing a lot of awesome stuff there. He shows up all the time over here at CHCA to get workouts in and talk shop. So, and I know he's actually putting together some really awesome content material for a couple state days and family days coming up around the importance and relevance of a strength coach, not just the value of a strength coach, and helping administrators and schools out there navigate through that. Cody Thompson, good buddy of mine. He's in Iron Circle with me. He's out at Yorktown in Indiana. This guy's got such a posture of humility and learning, and I love that about him. He's always asking great questions. He's a great listener. I know he's doing awesome things for his kids out there at Yorktown. And then another coach at the college level, Molly Benetti. She's down at the University of South Carolina. Molly has been crushing it down there, and Amanda, you and I have spent some time with her on the leadership side as well. But Molly's doing some awesome things, innovative things with a very high level women's program down there. So I'm always watching her for ways that I can work with our female athletes. She's creative, she's innovative, and she connects so well. So those are just a couple. Obviously, I shouted out Hoover, Mark Hoover, my Bama boys, Garrett Keith and Keith Trotman down there in Alabama. They would hate it if I didn't say this. I'm not a fan, but Roll Tide. I know that'll make them smile when they hear this. So anyway, but yeah, just a couple people out there. They're doing awesome things that I've been learning from and watching closely.
I knew you'd always want more. I shouldn't even wrote down 2 or 3.
That's okay. That's all right. I did them quick. I didn't spend a lot of time. I did them quick.
No. I don't know about finish, but I want to talk family a little bit. And I'm going to turn it around. You said we were with leadership stuff. How, as an amazing strength coach, are you still creating an amazing experience for your family to be around you?
I'm getting to the point now where I have a son that's almost 2 years old. So his presence around here is ramping up. Him being in the weight room, running around, having fun, him coming to a ball game or two. Our community here, knowing my family, COVID makes that hard to navigate right now, right? We still have a 3-month-old, and my wife's back working full time at the hospital. She's a palliative care social worker, and so she's very proud of her career and very career driven. I have found that my communication, my planning, and running off of the calendar, our family calendar, better has made a difference. I'm saying no to a lot more things that I used to say yes to. And I'm not hurting anybody's feelings along the way. I'm just keeping it real, keeping it honest. My wife has noticed that, right? My kids see me still being present. Although it's evident sometimes when my son says, "Daddy, football," or my mom or my wife picks up the phone, and he says, "Mommy, is that Daddy?" And it's like, no, he's not on FaceTime right now. But and then honestly, utilizing technology a little bit better, FaceTiming him before he goes to bed on a night that I'm here late or doing things. And, although it's not ideal, it's better than nothing. Right. So doing that, and then honestly, still embracing our quality family time and doing things that we love to do. We like to go out and be out in nature and bring the wagon along and pull the kids and run the dog and, I don't know, just being active and making memories there. It takes intention, coaches, if you're listening and, you're first one into the weight room well before anybody else in the morning, and you're sitting there waiting for, another hour on hand. Hey, if that's you, that's great. I believe that you can still deliver the same experience to these kids 30 minutes beforehand. And it's taken me some time to learn that, but I can still get what I need done. You know what I do? I set up a couple things the night before, right? You know what I do is that I work through some of the things that I want to happen the night before, right? When I'm at work. Gary Schofield said this to me, and this has stuck with me ever since the national conference in Indianapolis for the NHSSCA. He told me, he's like, "Hey, Adam," and mind you, this is like one of the first times I've interacted with Gary. He goes, "Hey, Adam, you listen to podcasts?" Now, looking back at this is such a classic SCO thing, like setting somebody up to like just hit them between the eyes. Yeah. Because, hey, you listen to podcasts? And like young me's like, "Oh yeah, like I listen to podcasts, I get in my truck, I got 30-minute commute in the morning. And by the time I'm at school and I've gotten home 3 days, I can listen to a full book or listen to all this. He's like, oh, that's cool. He's like, what do you listen to? Oh, latest one, BigTime, BigTime Strength podcast, just whatever it might be, listening to different things. I listen to some of the art of coaching. I've listened to a number of things, but they all were relevant to what the conversation was. Where in reality, they were also relevant to just what I was listening to and the only content I was putting in my head. So he goes, sweet. So you listen to that on the way to work? Nice. Do you listen on the way home from work? Oh yeah, I got to, man. I can knock out basically an episode in one day if I do that. Huh. He's like, what are you doing to sharpen yourself as a father and a husband? What are you doing to sharpening yourself, right, as a brother, a son, a friend? You want to listen to stuff to make you a better strength coach? Your commute to work, that's fine. Your commute home from work, you're done with that. If you value and care about those other things as much as you value your profession, don't do what I did, because all I did was value the profession. I did not value the other things. I went home from that conference. I told my wife, I'm going to be better at doing some things that I haven't been. I think it starts with what I'm listening to, what I'm surrounding myself with, and what I'm valuing. I'm forever grateful for that one. Forever grateful for that one. Yeah, that was a good one.
Telling it like it is.
I'm just trying to keep it real.
Well, good. Is there anything, I know you like to talk, we could make this into
thanks, coach, appreciate that.
Keeping it real. We could turn this into 4 hours, and I know everyone would love to listen to it, but is there anything that we haven't talked about that you're like, I want to get out there, we need to, I mean, you're dropping bombs right now, but
yeah, there's just a few things. So I wrote a list down, and I'm not going to read this list. It was me doing it that made me realize what's important. All of you coaches out there, you need to have mentors and people speak into your life more than just your profession. Gary spoke into my life from a professional standpoint as a strength coach, sports performance person, but he also spoken to me as a man, right? As a husband, as a father. I have people on this list right now that have helped me grow in my faith, right? And pursue that and holding me accountable to it. I have people that are helping me through my career right now as a strength coach. Listen, I didn't sign up to be a strength coach. I believe that's where God put me. He said, this is your form of ministry. This is how you're going to reach people. This is how you're going to love on them. And you're also going to do it really well. And so I believe that that's why I'm here, what I'm doing now. Did I say that from a young age, this is what I wanted to do? No. If you were to ask me even 10 years ago, I would not tell you I'd be a high school strength conditioning coach. But mentors in my life have continued to pour into me, affirm me, challenge me, hold me accountable, and help guide me. And I'm grateful for that. So think about who that is for you, right? Those friends, think about those people that are older than you, right? I have an assistant strength coach. He was my former strength coach here when I was in school, and he's back serving. He has 2 times the amount of experience that I have in my lifetime. I shut up when he talks.
Yeah.
I shut up when he talks because that dude loves me. He loves his program. He loves Jesus, and he wants to help people. So when he talks, I listen. So anyway, think about that. The other thing, I'm going to leave you with this. This is probably the first time it's ever happened on this podcast, Coach. I'm going to leave you guys with some advice from an old farmer. So an old farmer talks about a couple things you need to realize in life. Your fences need to be horse high, pig tight, and bull strong. Keep skunks and bankers at a distance. Life is simpler when you plow around the stump. A bumblebee is considerably faster than a John Deere tractor. Words that soak into your ears are whispered, not yelled. Meanness don't just happen overnight. Forgive your enemies. It messes up their heads. Do not corner something that you know is meaner than you. It don't take a very big person to carry a grudge. You cannot unsay a cruel word. Every path has a few puddles. When you wallow with the pigs, expect to get dirty. The best sermons are lived out, not preached. Most of the stuff people worry about ain't never going to happen anyway. Don't judge folks by their relatives. Remember that silence is sometimes the best answer. Live a good and honorable life. Then when you get older and think back, you'll enjoy it a second time. Don't interfere with something that ain't bothering you none. Timing has a lot to do with the outcome of a rain dance. If you find yourself in a hole, the first thing to do is to stop digging. Sometimes you get, and sometimes you get got. The biggest troublemaker you'll probably ever have to deal with watches you from the mirror every morning. Always drink upstream from the herd. Good judgment comes from experience, and a lot of that comes from bad judgment. Letting the cat out of the bag is a whole lot easier than putting it back in. If you get to thinking you're a person of some influence, try ordering somebody else's dog around. And finally, live simply, love generously, care deeply, and speak kindly.
Boom. Big time. Right there. You're living it. You're living it. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Yes.
Something a little different.
It's a little bit different and, simpler times. I actually married a farmer, and that's what keeps me grounded and all that stuff is, I hope people replay this, a minute and listen to it again, because it really is, everything that you said right there is free, right? It doesn't
Yes.
cost a thing, doesn't need
You're
an
right, coach.
introduction,
That's
doesn't
free,
need
man. I love that.
certification. It's free and it's simple, and it's what's going to keep us around here instead of getting burnt out. So I love it. I don't even need to ask you your big time. You've said it today, Adam. You really have. And I do want you to finish out and talk about the Grown Man podcast, or the Grown Man project, because
Yeah. Thanks for asking about that.
yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
just
awesome.
think you're
Thank you.
living it, and I want to make sure that people know where to find you to hear a little bit more.
Yeah, so a couple friends and I started the Grown Man Project here a couple years ago, and we do have a podcast. We also have a community and connection point. Our goal is to help men reach depth and substance in a very surface level world right now. Men have to be of depth and substance if we want to carry out what God's purpose for us is, right? We're not worried about where you are in your faith journey. We're worried about where you are in your personal journey as a man and stepping into what it means to be a grown man, knowing that you have to wake up every day and you need to pursue something to the fullest, that you are responsible and accountable for things, right? And that you can do that well and that you don't have to do it alone. Guys tend to become lone wolves. We want to create a community of fellowship, the way that you circle around a fire, the way that you talk around that campfire, maybe drinking a good whiskey or a beer, and you're sharing real things that matter, that you're struggling with, that you're pursuing, that you're attacking. That's what we're here to do. So we bring people on the Grown Man Project podcast. We ask them about their story. We ask what it means to be a grown man. We get to sit down for an hour like I did with you today, Coach. You have blessed me. This has been life-giving to me. I don't have it figured out. I don't have everything all dotted I's, cross T's, all that stuff. I don't have that. But what I do know is this, that I am where I'm supposed to be right now. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. And we want guys to realize that it's okay where you are right now, exactly where you are right now. How can we move forward together, though? You don't have to do it alone. Lots of guys are trying to. It's so much better to do it in deep, rich community to create that depth and substance in your life. So yeah, grownmanproject.com, the Grown Man Project podcast. We just launched season 3. We got some really great people on there. And we have, 2 previous seasons as well. Our very first season, we took on, we kind of were crazy. We took on doing a podcast episode every week for a year.
Yeah.
Since then, we've decided to step back a little bit. And Coach, I think you could probably relate to me here, right? Of, hey, like grinding out, putting out new ones all the time. I mean, we live in a culture of consumption. And so, you want to be able to provide and build that, but we also needed to take rest. Rest is so important for us. And so we've gone to the season model for right now. So we just launched season 3, but you're welcome to go back and check out some of the season 2 guests as well as our first season. So thanks for asking about that, and would love people to come and check us out. And heck, maybe they'll be on as well. So
Good. Wow. This has been great. If you're listening, check out Adam on his social media. It's his name, and he told you about the podcast. I can't wait to keep working with you in the future. I'm excited to grow with you in strength and conditioning and in so many other areas, and just keep going. So I've learned from you.
Thanks, Coach.
I wanted our listeners to be able to just have your energy and hear your voice and know where to find you. So thank you so much for
Thanks,
being.
Coach. I appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time. I mean, you are helping so many people out by doing this, by taking your time to talk to other people and listen and hear from them, and sharing this. I hope this one person, I know you were saying that, and if there's one person listening that takes something away from this, then great. That's all that matters. You just keep building brick by brick, as Garrett Key says, day by day, and doing those things for the greater good and growing our profession. We need people like you, Coach Berg. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Wonderful. Well, this has been another episode of the Big Time Strength podcast, and we're excited to get back with you. We've had a little bit of a month break here during the fall season. So whenever you're listening to us, whether it be during the fall, right when we have it, or learning something a year down the road, thank you for listening. And I hope wherever you're at, you make it a great week. See ya.